All right, welcome, folks. Thank you for being here. My name is Jose David Reynosa. I'm Assistant Director of Diversity and Access here at the University of Northern Colorado. I am also serve as an admissions counselor for an assigned territory and group of students as well. So we are here to help. We have several other counselors that are here at today's webinar that will be helping out with our Q&A chats throughout this presentation. We will be presenting quite a bit of information about both UNC and then the topic at hand of how to apply, giving you some pointers to be able to put your best foot forward with our application. And also for you to get to know who we are as an institution, the University of Northern Colorado. So welcome, thank you for being here as we continue here through our agenda. The first step that we'll talk about is the UNC story and academics and campus life. And then we'll get on to a little bit of some overview of some financial numbers, cost, and how to apply. Primarily, we'll finish off with that. If you have questions throughout the session, please feel free to put them in the Q&A. And if it's questions that are very individual, they'll get answered throughout there by our counselors that are here on the chat at the webinar. If there's questions that feel a little bit more universal, then we'll answer them at the end, and I'll make sure that we can cover them here when we finish our presentation as well. So we'll get to them whether they be through typing or through me chatting. We'll make sure that we address your questions and get everything situated in that way. So please ask. And si tienen preguntas en español, también por favor pónganlas en las preguntas y yo me aseguraré de checar también. Así que thank you so much. If you have questions in Spanish too, you can put them in the chat also. As we continue, let's get started. Where is UNC located in Colorado? So we are within 90 minutes of Rocky Mountain National Park, roughly 3 hours from several mountain ski resorts, about an hour from Denver. You can kind of see it right there, northern Colorado, a little over an hour to Red Rocks as well. So a little close to a lot of things. What is a little bit about our history as UNC? In 1889, we started as a state normal school, a school for educators. We taught teachers how to be teachers, and that happened for several years, several decades. In 1911, we changed name to Colorado State Teachers College. 1935, we continued all the way up to 1970, where we got the name that we use now, the University of Northern Colorado. Who are we today after all of that? So last year we were #1 in upward social mobility. What that really entails has to do with a lot of markers of wanting to better your life from your previous generation, knowing that whether that may be financially, other markers that have to do with social mobility as well. We were the #1 school for our students in that. 91% placement within 6 months of graduation. Our students graduate, and within 6 months, 91% of them either are placed within their job or are at a graduate school as well. We are 5 out of 5 on the Campus Pride Index. It's a way that it gets measured for a campus to having those resources that the LGBTQ plus community needs, and we're 5 out of 5 on that. And we're an emerging HSI, Hispanic Serving Institution. So we do pride ourselves in doing everything that we can to serve our Hispanic community as well. #1 accounting school, top 100 nursing schools, and an all Steinway school. So that is also something that we're proud of. All Steinway, for those that are music folks, that might mean a little bit something more to you in regards to the type of pianos that we have on campus as well. It is a really highly regarded. Our community, who we are a little bit on the smaller side, 9,000 plus undergraduate students, and 42% of them are first generation. 25% Hispanic and Latinx, and 37%, including those Hispanic and Latinx, are students identify as students of color. About 79% are in-state Colorado residents, and then we represent 46 different countries. We're a very diverse institution when it comes to who we represent. Academically, we do have the umbrella of the University of Northern Colorado, and then underneath that, there are different colleges within our university that have the different programs that might be there. So your program might be in a different college. The Montfort College of Business is one of them, Humanities and Social Sciences, Performing and Visual Arts, Education and Behavioral Sciences, Natural and Health Sciences, and soon we will have a College of Osteopathic Medicine. So we will have a medical school as well, opening in hopefully the fall of 2025. Within those programs and classes, we pride ourselves as well on having an average class size of 25 students. We have a 14:1 student to faculty ratio, and that is a huge pro with lots of personal attention, office hours. Students have access to their faculty to be able to ask questions. We pride ourselves that 73% of our classes have less than 30 students. So lots of really good pointers when we talk about that. Big thing as well when we talk about campus resources. I invite you to also let this translate a lot of the times when you hear this in presentations about universities. With us, where's my money going to? We want to make sure that we're serving students. So campus resources are there. Here on our campus, academically, we're talking about your tutoring services. We're talking about your writing centers, your math lab to be able to help you out with those homeworks, with those assignments from any class that have to do those. Our tutoring centers. We're talking about something that kind of blends between academic and wellness as well. Could be our disability resource center, making sure that you have accommodations that you need as well, or anything else throughout to be able to be a successful student in school. Wellness might include as well your health centers. We're talking about we have our bear pantry, making sure that food insecurity is not something while you're a student, for you to be as successful of a student as possible. Wellness may also include our rec center. No additional cost. Tuition and fees covers as well the usage of our incredible facilities in our rec center. And then when we get to social, other than all of your student groups that we're discussing as well, campus resources, we're talking about cultural and resource centers as well. We have 4 cultural centers: the Asian Pacific American Student Services, Cesar Chavez Cultural Center, Marcus Garvey Cultural Center that serves our students who identify as Black or in the African diaspora, and Native American Student Services. Their houses just like this that you see in the presentation here, that have resources for students that have those identities and also welcome folks from different identities to many of their events that they host throughout the entire year. We also have other identity-based, like the Gender and Sexuality Resource Center, the Center for Women and Gender Equity, and our Veterans Services, all placed throughout the campus. It's something unique to UNC, so it's some exciting things to be able to talk about because we want people to feel represented and at home at UNC as well. When talking about campus housing, there is lots of opportunity to be able to look at what is right for you. 17 different residence halls, 4 different tiers of housing. We have your housing that is the more affordable, that might have the bathrooms at the end of the hall, as well as housing that has your living room spaces and a shared bathroom between multiple rooms as well in there, as well as more luxurious, like the one that you see in the photo here as well. And then learning communities to be able to spend time with folks that are either like-minded or have interest as well, or even like majors. So lots of information there also. And I know that I'm covering a lot of info here, but I want to make sure that we have a brief overview of UNC as we get going and talking about how to apply to us today. Campus dining, lots of options as well. We have 10 plus different dining locations. If you don't, coffee will be accessible throughout the entire campus. If you don't already have some type of caffeine addiction, you might leave with a caffeine addiction, knowing that we have Starbucks and an Einstein's and a coffee corner just in every other building. In regards to dining locations as well, we on campus, we have places like Subway, we have a sushi place, we have Empire Pizza, we have a burger company place as well as Latin styled food, and just lots of options. And then of course our dining halls as well. So lots of meal options. And of course, we also make sure that we have dietitians that make sure that all any type of dietary restrictions are being paid attention to as well. In regards to student life, we have over 100 plus student organizations. We are a Division I school, so you do get that energy. You do get that connection of competing with some of the top schools. 17 different Division I sports. We also have club sports and intramural. And then we tie in here as well 300 plus annual performances, because a lot of our music programs and activities and theater as well, and art as well, you don't have to necessarily be a major to participate participate in a lot of these activities, or student groups as well. So stay involved. UNC has lots to offer, and if there isn't an organization that you personally connect with yet, you can actually create your own. It only takes a couple people and an advisor as well, in addition to yourself. So lots of good information there also. So we're going to transition into a little bit having to do with cost. So I'm showing you this map just to let you know that there's 3 different cost points and scholarships that we're going to be looking at. We have in-state for Colorado. The darker blue that you see on there is WUI, so the Western Undergraduate Exchange, an agreement that a lot of these colleges on that side have some form of either discount or scholarship program, the way that they do the Western Undergraduate Exchange. So that is a different cost point. And then out-of-state, non-resident international in regards to what you see in the lighter gray there. So feel free in this to take a photo if you'd like while we're presenting to make sure this is this year's tuition and fees. The housing right there is, as you see, with a note at the bottom that says that it's based on a tier 3 and a 19 meals a week plan. So if we choose a lower tier, then that could change a little bit, or a higher tier to that tier 4. The fees is a flat rate that gets applied for the year, and these are annual costs. And so that's what we're looking at. Like I said, feel free to take a picture. And we also match that same energy in the sense of Colorado in-state, WUI, and out-of-state with our merit-based scholarships. So our merit-based scholarships, 3.0 and above, are merit-based earned scholarships that we give you every year for 4 years. And so 3.0, you get that amount for Colorado and so forth. 3.4, 3.8, and 4.0. Let us know if your GPA is going up. When you apply, you will apply with a specific GPA, but if throughout your senior year your GPA is going up, it's expected to go up, communicate with us so that we can make sure that we can let you know about the process, about having any reconsideration of scholarships for your GPA going up. So stay in touch with us and talk to us as your counselors, okay? That's our merit-based scholarship is not the only way that you can have financial aid as well. We have FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. FAFSA gets filled out by folks who are students that have a social security number. CAFSA is for Colorado applicants specifically that might not have a social security number. So that's what when you hear those two, that's what that might be. FAFSA is the one that gets widely mostly used. In that sense, here's a different date. I should have double checked that one already, but this year actually FAFSA opens in December, so not October 1st. That's on here, and it's still set as a priority deadline of March 1st. But if you want to write down an important date, also is knowing that in December FAFSA and CAFSA both will be opening then, and this is what gives you access to grants, loans, and other work study options. Other additional financial aid may include other scholarships that we have, which I'll mention here in a little bit later as well. Outside scholarships, employment on and off campus wise, personal finances, additional loan options. There's always speak to our financial aid counselors as well if you need further assistance in figuring out what might be your options. And talk to your admissions counselors. We'll guide you in the right direction and looking for that as well. We are currently still #1 at lowest debt at graduation, which is a huge pride in the state of Colorado for 4-year public institutions. And then, like I said, last year we were #1 in social mobility as well. So keeping all that in mind, let's get to the subject at hand, which is how to apply. Today is August 1st. Happy August 1st. So you can actually start applying today, which is awesome. And we'll learn how and why. So we want you to join our Bear family. We're excited that you're here visiting us as well in this virtual format, because that means that you're considering us, and we're happy that you're here, and we're happy to have you. So as we're looking at this, we want to make sure that we talk about our Colorado first year guarantee, because it does bring a little bit of light of how we look at some of our applications in general too. So we do have a Colorado first year guarantee admissions. If you are a current Colorado high school student, 3.0 cumulative high school GPA, and you meet these requirements that are listed here and all other high school graduation requirements, then you know that you will have a guaranteed admissions to UNC if you submit your application by March 1st. So keeping that in mind, that's also a little bit of some of those guidelines with going forward into what we look for. A 3.0 GPA is a competitive GPA when looking at admission. Timeline about becoming a bear. Today, the fall application opens. Early action application deadline is December 1st. What that means is that by December 1st, you have your application into us, including your transcripts and any other supplemental materials that you're sending to us. And if you have that by December 1st, then we want to give you an answer by the end of before the year ends, so that you can have that going into the holiday season, have an answer from us as well. March 1st is the priority FAFSA deadline. That's for financial aid. And we talk about July 1st as a last chance deadline, knowing that there are several steps to complete once you have an admissions decision, having to do with housing, having to do with orientation to get you signed up for classes, registration. And so we want to make sure that you have ample time to be able to do those things. And July 1st is the deadline that we kind of give you as a this is the ideal time frame to be able to do that. We do have rolling admission, so as long as stay in communication with us as we talk about that. There's not a hard cut deadline, but July 1st is our last chance preferred deadline there. Becoming a bear. You'll complete your application. You have either our Bear app for UNC if you're just applying directly to us. If you're applying to multiple schools, we do use the Common App, so you can use the Common App to be able to apply. Our Common App and both there'll be sections for our same questions. So when we're talking about some of these things in the next slide about our application and the personal statement and your academic reflections, there's still a space where that fits in with both. So you'll have that information on both applications. In regards to applying your general information, so everything that has to do with your address and your personal data per se, you don't have to fill out multiple times when you do the Common App, and you can submit that to several schools as it happens through there. So, and then there are some schools that only do the Common App, so just double check if you're applying to multiple schools in that way, use the Common App, apply to us through there, but you're also welcome to use directly through our Bear app. There is a $50 application fee, but there are sometimes fee waivers that are given. Part of that is that Colorado has the Colorado Free App Days. We also have a free app day every other month as well, the first of the month. And so just check in with us about those free app days as well, or check in with counselors about fee waivers also. High school transcripts are needed for us to be able to review your application. We need to be able to see high school transcripts. There are times where a high school transcript that we receive is we need to see a little bit more in regards to how you may be doing your first semester of senior year. So please stay attentive to any information, emails that might be coming back and forth, because you might have sent us that initial high school transcript and then you still haven't heard back from us, and you're like, what is going on? What am I waiting for? And it might be that we just need another high school transcript that includes the grades from senior year. And so regardless of anything, just always stay connected with your email and your student portal as well, that you'll have access to. In regards to these optional materials, let's chat a little bit with that. So ACT and SAT scores are optional at UNC. We don't need them to make an admissions decision, but if you'd like to send them to us, we do accept them. So please feel free to send them. Personal statement and letters of recommendation are also optional. As you saw that our competitive GPA, the GPA that the 3.0 for scholarships and for our Colorado first year guarantee, being that 3.0, when your GPA is below 3.0, very recommended to send a personal statement and letters of recommendation. It doesn't mean that you don't get in with a below 3.0 GPA here at UNC, but it's helpful to have the as we are looking at excuse me, as we're looking at becoming a bear, the first year, the personal statement, we want to hear about your story and connect that to your college journey. What do you want to do with your career when we're talking a personal statement? Clarity is important through there. Sometimes we get in the loop of talking about something that happened way long ago, and you can tell stories about your childhood, you can tell stories about growing up, but we want to know, who are you now? Who are you in your statements, in your essays? Who are you going into? Are you ready for college? We want to talk about your academic readiness in there. So edit, proofread, have someone double check it. Like, make sure that you are putting your best foot forward when writing these statements. Like, you have a great application and then you write a personal statement and don't double check it and proofread it, and it's just a lot of errors in there. That's part of your application when you're submitting it. So make sure that you put your best foot forward to there. Your academic reflection versus a personal statement. What is that? So in our application, you'll notice a space where you can actually submit an academic reflection, where if you had some D's or F's, you are able to explain a little bit of what those D's and F's, why, what was going on in that time potentially. You can talk about those types of things in your personal statement, but since you have that space to be able to talk about that too, feel free to use the personal statement as well to talk about everything else about why you are ready now for school, if you did have those experiences with lower grades at some point. So that's a little bit in regards to personal statement. Once again, if you have other questions about personal statement, feel free to put them in the Q&A and we'll chat about them here shortly as well. And letters of recommendation should be coming from someone that knows you well, and give them a time to be able to write it as well. And we want them to speak of your college readiness. So these letters of recommendation, think about those folks that know you, your teachers, folks that maybe you volunteer with that have seen your hard work. We want your work ethic, your academic readiness, your passions for your career, like those different things. Those are key letters of recommendation that will always help out in regards to admissions. And so, also, if you have questions about additional questions about letters of recommendation, please put them in the Q&A as well. We know that you might also have transfer credits to transfer to UNC. And that might be whether it be dual enrollment, concurrent enrollment. You want to get those sent in. We do take up to 90 credits as long as they're C minuses or better, regionally accredited institutions. And so if you go also to a Colorado early college, or if you took any of those classes as well in the meantime, those transcripts need to come from those institutions that you took those classes from. So if you want to check to see what those credits might transfer into, there's this great tool here at the bottom of this called transferology.com. So feel free to double check on that to see what that might transfer as. Some supplemental application information is if you're a student here on this call that is hoping to be in the College of Visual and Performing Arts, in our music programs, our theater programs, several of our art programs in general, there's a performing arts application checklist. There might be an audition form to send in-person audition or interview, and a March 4th deadline. So know that might be something supplemental if you're looking into these programs, whether they be auditions or interviews. This is another supplemental application to look into, which is what I mentioned a little bit earlier, which is our UNC Foundation Scholarship application. We have donors that give scholarships to students, and it's part of your checklist, so you'll see it throughout there, but you want to complete it before February 1st. So if you're writing notes down, write some of these deadlines down, knowing that February 1st is a priority deadline to make sure that we get your UNC Foundation Scholarship application and get considered for any of our additional scholarships that we might have. And then our UNC Honors Program also has an additional application to submit, and priority deadline is December 10th, as well as a regular deadline, April 10th.